So I'm over here in Paul Moore Park, aka Cherry Park, in the city of San Jose. So I'm Cherry Ave. I used to be here all the time, playing basketball with people, just hanging out, what have you. This was really one of the main places people knew me from in San Jose. I'd go as far as to say that, where I put a great emphasis on sort of, hanging out here. Lightweight, breaking the rules, but really for the most part, not breaking the law, and where I met a lot of people here, and I mostly hung out on the street, Cherry in general. Okay, so in this video I'm gonna be talking about Deuteronomy 5 and the 10 Commandments. Okay, so I was gonna walk over here, but there's like a lot of people here, so I'm just gonna stay over here and just kind of because there's a lot of noise there, there's a lot of noise here, so just bear with me. I'm just gonna talk about this really quickly. All right, Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Horeb." Be-hor, right? Hor is another word for Horus, and Satanists, made it so that in Western culture the word whore refers to, kind of prostitute, what have you. So they made a covenant at Horeb. For those who are loyal in the martial art order, right? Horus is a deity of Royal African Falcon martial arts, and there's all kinds of fake forms and lies about his description, okay? And for those who worship the devil, they want the prostitute, rides the beast, spiritual prostitution and otherwise, okay. It was not with our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you to declare to you the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up the mountain. And he said, "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery." So the mountain that is reinforcing what is right, okay, is the mountain of the Lord. The mountain that destroys the things of God is Babylon, the destroying mountain, the destroyer. When Babylon is done destroying, and as it's destroying, it's being destroyed. This is key here. Have any questions, put in the comments. Okay, verse 6. "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me or besides me." So what is being said here? It's saying that you can't follow any other kings. Kings are also referred to as gods. It says you cannot follow Dagon and the Philistines. You cannot follow, King Charles. You cannot follow King Louis. You cannot follow Joe Biden or any American false idols. You have to put God first. Okay, you can pay taxes within reason and X, Y, and Z, but it's saying that you cannot follow their false leaders, because God's order is a Royal African Falcon martial art order and not an order of conformity and mere social norms. Okay, so it's basically saying, don't be, excuse my French here, but a little bit irritated. It's basically saying, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch and follow Ronald McDonald. Don't follow, silly fools. Don't follow, Donald Trump. Don't follow, Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Don't be a clown. Don't follow anyone else but me. That is the first commandment. It says you will have no other gods. We see in Psalm 45 that the king is called a god as God's representative. And he said he's anointed with joy. It says he rides forth in the cause of truth, justice, and humility. It says strike down the enemies of God with your sharp arrows, figuratively and otherwise. It says that gird your sword by your side, you mighty one, you mighty warrior, New Living Translation. These people who resort to changing my voice to try to take away from my divine way. I don't sound like an African American naturally. I don't sound gay. They're using technology and they're covertly editing my videos. Okay, that is some clown ass deceiver clown stuff to do. And there's no excuse for it. Pretty straightforward. Okay, it's the first commandment, and they couldn't even keep that. They went right astray because they don't have heart like I have heart. The Lord weighs the heart. The Lord weighs the motives. As water reflects the face, someone's life reflects the heart. What deeds do they have? What mighty works? What evidence of the strong arm of God? The kingdom of heaven is not a matter of talk, but of power. You shall have no other gods before me or besides me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven, above, or on the earth, beneath, or in the waters below. That means their fake image of Christ on their cross. That means their cross, that they're pointing to that cross instead of the spirit of me. You can have a spirit, you can have an image of me, but you can't worship that image. You can use it to remind you of what God's spirit is if you've rallied to me in person. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference between having something as like it's kind of like a word on a piece of paper, right? You know, a letter on a piece of paper, okay? You're not worshiping it, it's directing you. Their images are directing you away from me as you associate Christianity with kind of Flanders from The Simpsons, the Pope, watered down preachers who watered down the gospel, people who don't point you to the Royal African Falcon martial art order, and Hebrew is an Afro-Asiatic language. Instead, they point you to the structure of white supremacy and token minorities and Zionism and Jewish supremacy and LGBT supremacy and their mere political movements, human rules, customs, and traditions. This is key here. Mark 7 really shines light, and Matthew 23 on what it is saying and what it isn't saying. And Proverbs 16:12 and Psalm 45 anyway. So it says, you shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of their parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. It's really punishing them to completion. How do we know that third and fourth generation in this context means completion? Because God is going to finish what he started. So first and foremost, it refers to completion. Then it refers to other points in the Bible where it talks about the number 3 and 4. But those aren't, you know, that's like the tree of knowledge. That's not so important. Whether you connect that to, you know, something in a church, or you connect that to how many men were selected for a task or whatever, that doesn't matter there. All right. And jealous is not kind of the word, it's enraged. If you found your wife sleeping with another man and you were a good man, would you be jealous like a little kid who didn't have his way? It's pure righteous indignation at the thought that these people sunk to the level of worshiping the bloodlines of, you know, the cult of the empire, the celebrities, their family heritage, or whatever it may be. Just pure moral indignation, righteous indignation, moral outrage at these people. Not being a petty, jealous person. I can't stress that enough, because there's a bunch of petty people. Shout out to the gay community, by the way, but there's a bunch of petty homosexuals that just lash out at people. Why can't you be more like the gays who treat people fairly? Why can't you elevate them so I could sit down at the table with them and discuss things like grown folks are supposed to discuss things? But you didn't want to do that. Same with the straight community. You want to be petty. And I want people to picture the various types of petty people and know that that's not the Spirit of God, that's pettiness. Like in the Hercules series, you know, where they talk about the Greek gods, they say they're petty and cruel. That's not God. God is mighty and righteous, and he truly loves those who obey his commandments. Okay. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Okay, so if somebody changes your voice in your videos and causes you to take God's name in vain after they you know, made you say that, you know, Jesus and Christ in a very bitter way that's blasphemous and so on and so forth, are you guilty? Not necessarily. If somebody covertly drugs you and fumes you and gets you worked up and confuses you about what to do and you say it, not necessarily. Because whoever leads the upright on a blameless path will fall into their own trap, but whoever leads the upright on the wrong path will fall into their own trap, but the blameless will receive a good inheritance. Okay, they'll be right with God. So you gotta understand what it is saying and what it isn't saying, because the devil tries to trick you and confuse you and say, well, don't listen to him now because we edited his video. We fumed him, You know that I am the rally point, and when I say I'm gonna establish a moral committee, if they ever rally to me, that overkills that you have no excuse but to obey God through me. I am the gate, the only way. Without me, there is no way. They try to make it so my voice sounds corny. Even right now I'm on the spot, fumed, kind of thrown off, background noise, all these things factoring in. My subconscious mind, my unconscious mind, they're manipulating with fumes and poisons, but I'm still telling you the truth. There is no excuse for what they're doing. And I'll go over the rest of the 10 Commandments in another video. About to run out of memory on this phone. I wanted to make a part 2 here, I won't be able to. That's partially a consequence of people being slack in their work and refusing to do the right thing because they serve the wealthy families. They're scared to be hurt. That's why the Lord is a warrior. It's a martial arts religion. It's for people who won't hesitate to die for God on the drop of a hat, who are in the divine order, obeying God through me. Everyone else is just some kind of devil that is on their way to hell, and some of them are stupid enough to persecute me directly or to not answer my rally call. and have heard it. Thank you.